Hi guys, it's Scarlet, and I'm here with playoffs, semifinals, up against No, and yeah, we're here, man. I can't even believe I made it this far. Before the game, I was definitely very nervous. It's been a while since I've felt that kind of nerves before a battle, and that's why you play Pokemon, right? That's To me, that's like the best part. When you feel nervous, when you feel like you're on edge, that's when Pokemon becomes fun. That's when Pokemon's like really, really, truly at its best. So to have that feeling, I haven't had that feeling in months. So I just want to thank No, and I want to thank the league really for just letting me into the league, and I've had a lot of fun. I'm definitely coming back for season 14. So that's first things first. Second things first. Second things second, I guess. I don't know. This is the whatchamacallit, like 1 seed. This is the 1 seed from the other division. So I've never played this team, which was really nice because to me it's very stressful having to team build for 2 teams. Or no, having to team build for a team you've already played, because it's very tough to like kind of innovate and come up with new strategies. So that was very nice to like kind of have like, okay, like a new matchup and that. Just some things I was kind of threatened about. A lot of these ones on the screen. Really, these 6 in particular were very threatening. I also prepped for possible Lilligant coming in, and I believe one other thing, or not one other, but like I think the Dunsparce I also prepped for, and there was one other guy I think that I was really prepping for. A lot of these bonds are threatening, but my team kind of dealt with that. Screamtail has an expert belt, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. Ice Beam obviously for, you know, Garchomp, and Thunderbolt for Gyarados. And then Wish to just kind of like pass HP around, Stealth Rock for hazards. Tingaton was the second one I came up with, and Screamtail was obviously first. Tingaton, Gigaton Hammer is my way of dealing with Sylveon in general, so it had to come to this matchup, just to deal with it. Then, I believe it had Thunder Wave for just like a switch-in, like a Gyarados or like a Gengar or a Scizor or even Passimian, like someone like that, where if they switch in, I can just kind of hit them with Thunder Wave, and then someone can outspeed them, maybe their Scarf or something. So that was my reasoning behind that. Then I had Play Rough, which was just kind of like general stab, and it also hit Passimian pretty well. Hits a lot of them pretty well. I originally had Ice Hammer on it for Garchomp, but I didn't really think that would come into play. It outspeeds me most of the time unless it's like bulky, and I didn't think bulky Garchomp would come because it has a pretty decent offensive mat. I mean, I thought it could come, especially considering this team doesn't have a lot of tanks, right? The Mons you see right now make up like probably the majority of their tanks, and it's not a lot. This team is very hyper offensive, without like webs or like lack of really hazards that much, but yeah. And then Vespiquen was, I originally had, this is very important to note, I originally had Grafii, I think it's Grafii. I originally had Grafii in this spot, and it was kind of my Gengar answer. Doesn't outspeed, but it takes everything very well, and it's Assault Vested. It was pretty much identical to the set I brought against Christian, but it was for Gengar, notably. Instead, I decided to go with Vespiquen. I wanted those hazards, which I thought would be really nice. I think I didn't put Destiny Bond in the set. I was really debating Destiny Bond. I have Spikes. I think I said that for hazards. U-turn just for pivoting. And then I think Roost for recovery. And then Terra Blast. I had Terra Blast for just like damage. I think it was Terra Blast. I forget. Maybe it was Hex. I don't know. I don't remember. Even though this battle was only like 4 hours ago. Great Tusk, damage. It walls Scizor very well. It has Fire Fang for Scizor. And it just does a lot of damage and keeps things in check. So that's really all it needs to do. It also removes hazards. That's really my only hazard control. Could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But I think Vespiquen lost Defog, so unfortunate. Goodra was just for special attackers, really. I mean, it could switch into Sylveon, okay-ish, but it doesn't really deal with Sylveon that well. But it was mainly for like Lilligant, if that would have came this matchup, which it obviously didn't. So Goodra was kind of like a Sackmon. I didn't really. Its role wasn't really there. I mean, it has Dragon Tail to prevent setup, so maybe like with hazards, it could like Dragon Tail and do all that fun stuff. And then Armorage is speed control. Pretty simple for that. But yeah, that's my team. My lead is Screamtail because I need Rocks up. Rocks are very important for this matchup because if I can start getting damage on things like over time, that's huge. If everything is to put into range for Armorage. So, without further ado, let's turn the music off. So this is immediately going to Terra Ground, which I thought was really an out there play. I mean, maybe Dazzling comes out. So I understand the play, but I think if you stay Terra Fighting here, I think it would have been better. I mean, you can't predict that, and I've brought some extreme Screamtail sets, so I mean, I don't want to like, brag or anything and all that, but I think it's because of like how I've prepped Screamtail and how versatile it's been, as to where you kind of have to play the worst case scenario, where it's like, maybe I could Calm Mind, or maybe I could bulk up, or maybe I'm Specs, or maybe whatever. Like, you have to play that scenario. So I understand Terra Ground, but I don't know if that was necessarily the play, especially because I have a lot of tanks or whatever, but that's just my take. So Gunk Shot's gonna land, and at this point I was like, don't poison, so it's obviously gonna poison. And Life Orb is very important because that's damage over time, which is really important for me. I'm able to go Vespiquen. I predicted Earthquake. That I'm being very honest. I did think that they would Earthquake. I really did think they would Earthquake. That's why I made that double, specifically, because in my head I was like, maybe I could go Tinkaton, but obviously that's not a good play, and they were trying to catch a double, which I doubled, but it was the wrong one. So good play on their part. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. I was very scared of like of Edge coming out of our slide, so glad that didn't come out. And here, I mean, I can just Terra Bug. Knock is like unfortunate, but it's not really end of the world. As long as I can get a layer up, that's great. I can Roost here and then turn, or I could just turn straight up. I decide to Roost. Taunt comes out, which again doesn't really affect me. At this point, I'm looking for momentum because I have hazards up. It's just now a matter of keeping them on the field, because I'm pretty sure Scizor still has defog, so it's a matter of keeping up momentum to whereas Scizor can't get on the field, and really just that. So the taunt doesn't really affect me because I am going to go for U-turn to get more momentum. I go to Tinkaton here, which can literally just Thunder Wave or can knock off. Either are very good options. I could also go for Play Rough here. On Scizor coming in, I just Thunder Wave here because I really don't need to. I go back to Great Tusk because Great Tusk takes everything very well. It takes U-turn very well. It can't really touch it. Does 7%. So this game I did a lot of calcing because obviously it's a playoff game. I gotta be prepared, you know? Yeah. So this is no investment attack Scizor. So this is defensive Scizor. So good bring on their part because I don't know. I mean, Armorage likes this thing Blaze, so I don't know if good bring's the right word, but I get why it came, especially for a mon like Ting and Tug, especially for Great Tusk, honestly. So I understand the play, I understand why it came, but it's interesting. Gengar comes back out, and from here I'm kinda scared because it could really click anything. Scizor comes back out trying to catch a double. I doubled into Goodra here. Okay, paralyzed, whatever. And I'll explain why, how it moved first. I think it's pretty obvious. I think I already told the answer, but I went into Goodra there, which can obviously catch Scizor, and I can just click Flamethrower. I went Goodra there because I mean it's a pretty solid Gengar check. For being honest, I think the only other mon that would come out here is Tigaton, possibly. So that's, yeah. I mean, like maybe no. Like I did calcs obviously for Vespiquen and its max speed F, so it could have came out. But Goodra keeps up the offense, so, and I go for Dragon Tail, which misses. So that's why it moved first. In hindsight, I think I would have liked the Dragon Tail to hit, especially right there, because that gives me some momentum. Because now, because it missed, I have to make a play where it's, do you give up Scizor here, or do you, I don't know, like double into Sylveon? I have to make that read, and I was very close to clicking Sludge Bomb, but I do end up clicking Flamethrower, so I get the first KO, which is great because you want the first KO. So this is gonna come out, and it's gonna take a ton, obviously. So gets up a layer, and I Draco here because I'm scared shitless. I want this thing gone. I could like Shadow Ball and do shit like that. And I saw it set later on. It's Sash, so I think that's really interesting. I don't know if that's what I would have done with Gengar. I was really expecting a more offensive, like special attacking. I mean, it is a special attacker, but like max investment, possibly Life Orb, maybe Specs, even Boots. I figured something like that would come, so very interesting to see a layer of T-Spikes come out, especially since I had Grafai. I'm so bad at pronouncing that. Especially since I had Grafai on the team. So it was very interesting to see the T-Spike come out. Or for you to even bring T-Spike, but it makes sense because, I mean, Grafai is not really common mon, and if T-Spikes get up, my only remover is Great Tusk. And obviously Draco's gonna KO, I don't miss. So, and Curse Body is whatever, I don't really care. Garchomp comes out, and I'm, you know, scared. It's a fucking Garchomp. Like, what are we doing? And they can just get up a layer of spikes. So that's really something, but at this point I'm not really scared. I mean, this is obviously physical Gengar, or, oh my god, physical Gengar? That would be fucking crazy. Physical Garchomp. Because you have Sylveon, you have Gengar. I really think that's enough for a special attack. You don't really need another one. But they said no, and Draco's just gonna KO. I know this is not very controversial, but like, that matters. That was a roll. That roll matters a lot, especially later on in the match, because I went for Rapid Spin. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I don't know if you're thinking this, but Rapid Spin, if you get the Rapid Spin off, you're just gonna get killed by Rough Skin. So there's really no, like, why would you even want the damage? It's very important later on, and I think you're gonna see why it's very important later on, that I don't get the damage. Like, clearing the hazards is one thing, right? That would have been great if hazards are clear. I don't have to deal with hazards. That's perfect. But the damage, to me, is way more important. The 14%, I wasn't even Ice Spinner. Like, if Ice Spinner comes out, this is dead, and I could just win straight up from here. But the Draco coming out is huge. I could have switched Vespiquen, but I did not think special Garchomp was coming. I didn't think that was the bring, but it was a very good bring because it caught me off guard. So I can't really be mad. I could have played it safe. So if if you want to point fingers, you can really only point them at me, because I should have been a lot more careful about Great Tusk, especially since I need hazards clear for the most part. Vespa Queen, I already tarot, so I can't exactly, like, not, like, I still pick up the T-Spike, so it's like, I really only have one Mon, and that's Tinkaton, that could really come in freely, besides from Garchomp. Like, if Garchomp's gone, then this Mon can come for free most of the time. So, that rule matters. And it matters a lot more because, obviously, like I said, I've been calculating this whole time. So, when I look at this in the damage calc, this is 87. The max I could do is 87. If it's fully invested and it doesn't have a positive special attack nature, meaning that it's neutral, special attack nature, the max it can do is 87. 87.2 to be exact. So for it to do 88, that means it was first off a max roll, if anything. If somehow it was a max roll, I don't know. But second off, that means it's probably a positive, like modest, or not modest specifically, but like plus special. So that matters a lot down the line for calcs, because I don't know, I'm on like Tinkaton, which has base 315 speed, now has 305 speed, which outspeeds not max Garchomp. It, you know, yeah. So that matters a lot down the line. So not thinking that Tinkaton outspeeds Garchomp hurts very badly for me. So I'm obviously going to lose that. It reveals Life Orb, which is, like, awesome. I have to go Vespa Queen here, because I don't really have another option. As Gyarados comes out, I can really set up another layer of spikes. I thought we were going to go into a Spike War. Taunt comes out, again, I have to U-turn here, because I need momentum. At this point, I have to go Scream Tail. And I need to threaten something. This is... In this moment, I remember thinking to myself, this is the play. I either win from here or I lose from here. There is no in between. And, I mean, you're going to see that's not really true later down the line, but I thought that they were thinking that, okay, Scream Tail probably has Thunderbolt. You don't go hard Scream Tail on a fucking Gyarados if you don't have Thunderbolt. So that was my thought process, and that thought process led me to thinking, or I guess that thought process led them to thinking, I need to go Garchomp or I need to go Passimian. So my play is always Ice Beam here, because if Scream Tail goes down, that's fine, whatever. I can still get Chip on Gyarados. Later down the line, Armor Rush can KO it. That's not the issue. It's really up to them to either stay in, and if they stay in, that's great for them. That's a lot of momentum their way. But if they switch out, they need Gyarados in this matchup, right? They need it to check Armor Rush. So they have to switch out into something. And that play is either Garchomp or it's Passimian. I don't really agree with that. I think if you're gonna make a play, I think you go hard Sylveon, because you can't. If it, like, worst case scenario, okay, let's go through worst case scenario. This is going to be a long video, by the way. Let's go through worst case scenario. Sylveon comes out, alright, on Scream Tail. And Scream Tail does whatever, like 20, 15%. And then it's at about 50, 60%. So I bring in Tinkaton. I probably go for Gigaton Hammer. And that's going to... They're going to protect on that. They have protect. So they're going to protect. And they're going to not allow that. They still have momentum, because now they can go Garchomp. Or if they think a Play Rough's coming out, they can just wish back up. So I think I think Sylveon was the play. I think it's always the play, and I was very scared of Sylveon coming out. More so of this staying in, because at least Ice Beam's going to do like solid 10, 20%. So that's more what I'm afraid of. But luckily, Passimian comes out and saves my day, because this is easily going to KO it. and I'm gonna get a good sack. I'm very happy with how that went. Screamtail got its rocks up, and it got a KO on something. That's really all I could ask for. I wish it did get a KO on Garchomp, but I couldn't really get that KO once the poison happened and no miss. Because of those two things, I can't really do anything. And again, you can blame that poison and it hitting on me not switching out into something like Great Tusk or like Tinkaton or something. But anyways, I go back into Vespiquen, anticipating Garchomp coming back out, which it does, which is great for me because I need chip, and this is already at 50%, which is great. Fire Blast comes out, which doesn't KO, because you know why? Vespiquen's just that bitch. Okay. And at this point, I don't really need Vespiquen. It's kind of filled its role. I've gotten my spikes up. At this point, I'm just trying to chip away at this HP. That's really my game plan right now. Because once Garchomp goes down, the rest of the game really does open up. So that's really what I'm thinking. I can let this thing die. I'm not too worried because now it's at 30%. And Arm Rush can come in, pick up a KO on something. Sylveon's going to come out, and I go for Psyshock, and it does 41. So I went into Calx, obviously, because, I mean, 41's a ton of fucking damage, and that makes it look Specs or something, or Life Orb, or Twisted Spin. And that looks like, that's a ton of damage. So, initially I didn't calc it, and I was just like, max, it's definitely not max defense. Why would you be max defense? That did 41 damage. Like, what are we doing? Turns out, that's actually a max roll. So, again, damage calc was really much screwing with me, because, I mean, you could blame me for not checking, but like, 40, like, that, to me, that looks like that's fine. Like, that's just max HP Sylveon, doing max HP Sylveon shit, but that was max defense. So, or at least I'm pretty certain that was max defense, or somewhere close to it. So, from here I should have went Tinkaton, but because of the 41%, I think I should stay in. I mean, 37, that's a roll. It's not even a roll, but once it gets out of that 41, I'm like, I'm a little scared. So then I go Tinkaton on a wish where I probably should have clicked like knockoff or something. I think on protect. Yeah, I clicked play rough just in case like Garchomp comes out or something. From here I should Gigaton Hammer or switch or T-Wave. I think I just T-Waved, yeah. And that's a good T-Wave just because I'm, you know, faster. I can get rid of the boots right now because that's gonna do wonders for me later. Unfortunately, Earthquake comes out. I didn't think it had an Earthquake. That's really on me. I probably should have done that. Gujo comes in. Gujo's, like, not even very useful. At this point, again, looking for Facade is a very good bring. At this point, I'm looking for damage. I was really debating whether or not to click Dragon Tail, but, yeah. So that's going to do damage. From here, I believe I click Psychic. Yeah, because, again, damage and rolls and whatnot. So that's only going to do 31. Again, I have to go back into Tinkaton on Wish coming out. And from here, I can really, I don't think I Gigaton Hammer just because I'm very scared of something switching in and switching out. So I'm kind of forced in this rough little in-between as Gyarados comes out, and I am able to get a kill, which is great. So now we have to talk about my endgame, because I royally fucked up here. Like I said, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but Great Tusk not getting the Rapid Spin matters a lot, not because I didn't get the spin, but because I didn't get the damage. If the damage is here, this thing's dead. This, you can't even sack it at this point. And obviously the game would change from there, like, if I got the damage, obviously things change from there, that's not... But I'm saying, like, hypothetically, there's more damage on Garchomp, so it can't really do what it did all game, and if it does, it dies here. On Tinkaton here, so then I either knock off on Sylveon, I Thunder Wave on Sylveon, or I go into Armorage and I play a 50-50 game with Gigaton Hammer, which is very winnable. Very winnable. Instead, I'm not faster. That was a max roll from Life Orb Garchomp. So, I thought I was faster, because there's no... You max roll from a fucking Garchomp, like, you gotta be plus nature. Like, it did 87 max, so I figured it's gotta be plus nature, so it's not. It's a plus speed, not plus special attack. So Earthquake KOs. It KOs. At this point, the game's over. It comes down to Armorage clicking Armor Cannon, like, 2 times, and my opponent clicking Wish and not clicking Protect. That's what the game comes down to, which is, again, not a good endgame. And at this point, I knew it was pretty much over. I was desperate for a crit, a max roll crit. I don't even think that KO'd, but it comes in at 100. Again, can't really do much. And I have to pray. Last cat standing is the last cat standing. Unfortunately, we lose. This was a very fun game, though, and I can't be too upset. You're gonna see the PBA video. I filmed that one first, but this game was it meant a lot to me. I haven't really been very active in many Pokemon community discords, just because I'm not a very social person in general, so I haven't really been active in those. And this was the first time in years, really, where I've really gotten to know people in the Discord, and I've really gotten to just bond. Like, I watched, I think, like, every game from the season. Not even from my division, from the other division, all the playoff games. I was very invested in the season, so I was very happy. Even though I lost, I honestly, like, it really sucked in the moment. Like, the first 20-30 minutes, it really sucked. But after that, man, like, I honestly couldn't have been more proud of myself, because the expectations I put on myself was playoffs. And I made playoffs. That's great. And then I won a game, which was even better. And now I almost won a semifinals game. I almost made the finals. I can't be too upset. I can't... This was a lot of fun. And I'm excited for Season 14. Apparently, if you're in a season, then you get automatically into the next. And that's awesome. That's great. I'm happy about that, because that means I can participate in another season. So I'm very happy about that. But I'm very happy to be a part of the Discord and be really a part of the community, and it was a lot of fun. Hopefully Season 14 is just as fun. And just very quickly, shout out to everyone on in the Discord and in the community. I don't know if I'll even do this for another one, because there's only really one other league I can think of where I would shout out the whole community, but just shout out to everyone there. Everyone's a great person, and we all support each other, and that's... You can't ask for more from a Discord community and a fucking Pokemon community than that. So I really have to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for just letting me be here and letting me do my own thing and all that. And yeah, thanks to Nono for a hell of a match, man. He deserves this one. He deserves this win. I told him that his team is, like, a lot more skill-oriented, and I do believe that. He has a lot of mons where you'd think they'd be offensive, and you really have to team build. Like their team is very team-building oriented, where if you don't build well, you're gonna lose. And they were #1 in their division by a considerable margin, so I have to tip my hat off, because literally you have, like, four times weak mons that are, like, very prevalent. So that's, like I said, that's team building. So yeah, hats off. hats off. Anybody, I mean, really just everyone, but I think specifically because, you know, obviously my opponent. And I'll definitely be rooting for him because, listen, division bias is great and all, but I wanna lose to the champion, not the runner-up. I mean, come on. Think about it from my perspective. But yeah, again, thank you guys for having me, and like I said, excited for season 14. Hopefully a great finals. I don't know if I'll upload that to YouTube or not, but I'll definitely be tuning into that as long as I can. hopefully live, but I'll definitely be watching it at least. But yeah, thank you, everybody. This was a ton of fun. And yeah, like I said, hopefully season 14 is great. Hopefully season 13 finals is a ton of fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.